Well, a little more than a week ago, Democrat Crystal Ball was a little-known candidate facing an uphill battle in Virginia's 1st congressional district. Today, after the revelation of some suggestive photos from a party several years ago, she's been featured on all 3 national cable news networks and wrote an editorial on the subject in the Huffington Post. Ms. Ball granted NBC12 the first interview in the wake of those photos being posted. She joins us now live to talk about the race in the 1st District. Thank you for being here again, Crystal. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me back.
And I don't want to labor the idea of these photos, but it's definitely an issue out there. Looking back now, a week since they've been posted, you've done a ton of national media. You've been featured all over the country. In fact, internationally, I've seen some papers in the United Kingdom have written about this. How has it impacted your campaign?
I think it's still yet to be seen. You know, my goal in addressing this directly was just to kind of get it out there, say my piece on it, and move on. And I feel like we've been able to do that. I feel like we've been treated fairly, and so now we're ready to get back to the issues facing constituents in this district.
So you do think your coverage has been fair? Because in the beginning you said that you thought that it was the result of sexism. Do you think that at least the mainstream media has treated you fairly in that regard?
I do. I think the media has been fair. The part that I objected to was the initial posting of the photos and the way that they were portrayed. But, you know, we did a lot of interviews. We issued a very lengthy statement, and now we're ready to get back to the issues.
Has it helped you in terms of fundraising at all? Have you seen a bump in your fundraising as a result?
You know, we've seen support from around the country, but, you know, that was never our goal.
Okay. Let's talk about other issues in the race. Aside from the photos, one of the biggest criticism that you've had is your personal financial situation. You said at one point that you were from a family of a sub $100,000 a year, and your financial disclosure report reflected that. But then your second financial disclosure report showed that your assets were in excess of $1 million. Can you clarify that for us and tell us give voters an idea of exactly where you stand financially?
It's actually the result of the way that the financial disclosures are done. They want you to show the maximum possible interest that you have in any company to show a conflict of interest. So, you know, we had a dispute that was not resolved at the time that our last disclosure was filed, and we had to put the maximum possible value of that dispute. It was after that settled for much less. But I might put out there that this same story was posted by the same blog that posted the photos. So,
but there's been other reputable media outlets that have covered it as well. Would you still describe your family situation and your personal financial situation as a sub $100,000 a year family?
You know, we have a small business. It's successful. We've been proud to be able to make an investment ourselves in this race, and that's where we stand.
Okay. One of the big problems you've had in this race is that you can't get your opponent, Rob Whitman, the incumbent, to face you in a debate face-to-face. You've been going around the district with a cardboard cutout. Why do you think it's important for you to have a debate with Mr. Whitman?
Well, I think it's not so much important for me. I think it's important for voters in the district to be able to see both of us side by side, engaging back and forth in the issues, and really fleshing out what are our views, where are our differences, what is the choice that's available. And the lack of a willingness to debate, to me, speaks to a sense of sort of entitlement to the seat. And we just simply want to say, you know what, this isn't your seat. This seat belongs to voters in the 1st District of Virginia, and they deserve to hear from you, and they deserve to hear both sides.
My last question for you, we do need to make it quick.
Sure.
You've always been pictured as a candidate facing an uphill battle, a long shot you've been described as. How could you convince voters watching you today that you actually have a chance to win on November 2nd?
Well, it comes back to the faith that I have in voters in this district, and if I could say one thing to voters in the 1st District of Virginia, it would be, I come from a business background. I work with people from all ends of the political spectrum, all different points of view, and I really don't care whether an idea comes from the right or the left or the center. If it's a good idea, I'll vote for it and I'll support it. And I have faith in the voters in this district that that is what they want out of their elected representative.
All right, Crystal Ball, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck in the election.
Thank you.